Hey guys, this is day 103 of Startup. So I'm trying out various open source AI packages that may be interesting for me, and I may want to integrate some of those in my product. But it has been really frustrating experience so far. AI scientists, of course, they're doing something really amazing, but when it comes to writing code, they write very bad quality code. And what I mean by bad is not like it doesn't work, it works, but I'm a software engineer, and like 90% of the software engineering is not about writing code for the machines, writing code for computers to understand, but it is for writing code for other developers to understand. What we learn during our work in offices, in books, everywhere after we graduate from college is how to write a beautiful, clean code that is very intuitive and easy to grasp and understand for other developers. And this is called the whole discipline of software design. And there is also then a discipline of software architecture, but it seems like AI scientists have not yet started following software design principles. So for me, what I have noticed so far is like there is no documentation at all, no comments, and there is no information on what kind of input it expects and what kind of output it will give. I have to go inside the code to figure everything out. So of course, again, for people who are not in this field may think that what's the big deal to go inside the code and figure out, but I'm too used to the software engineering ways where you will find all that information, and actually much more than you will need in the documentation, where usually in GitHub, where there's a code, there's also a readme file which tells everything, all the information that you can ever need to run that code. And then moreover, there's also a lot of effort goes when software engineers develop the code in naming things, choosing the right names for variables, for functions, that they are auto, they are very intuitive to understand what this function does. But again, that's where also again these AI scientists, they're not doing that, it seems. And then also there is a whole issue of dependencies. When we software engineers write code, we use the work of a lot of other people. Hundreds and thousands of people create libraries and they push it on the internet for everyone to use, and we, with just one or two lines in our code, we can actually include those libraries. But then the problem happens when our code becomes older, like we become like 3-year old code and we are still using a library that has now new features. But software engineers have a way to define these dependencies so that we do not, with the software that we are building and shipping, we also ship the versions of the library which this one is compatible, and this is called dependency management. And with most AI softwares I'm seeing, there's absolutely no mention of which version of the library it depends on. In fact, a lot of times it doesn't even tell which library it depends on. So while I'm installing the software, that's when I discover, oh, this library is missing, that library is missing. So in short, what I could do in 5 minutes, if that code would have been written by a software engineer, takes me 3 to 4 days to just do. And in fact, I'm taking so much pain to go inside the code to understand how it works and how to use it. But for a lot of people, in fact, a lot of good software engineers are not trained to do that, do not have that kind of experience or even inclination to do that. So it seems like even though these source codes are available, they're still not usable or still not readily usable. So I think this needs to change, and hopefully AI scientists take some effort into, or take some extra effort into doing this for other people, for the public, when they release their code. Now a lot of people who are not software engineers may be thinking like, why am I even complaining? They're giving the code free in, and you can see and copy and everything. why you even complaining about that it is not very understandable. Yeah, I know I should not complain, I should be thankful, but at the same time in software engineering it's just a habit, you know. Writing good code that is understandable by other people is completely a habit thing. We are told and we are judged on it by our other peers so much that it becomes part of the habit, and it becomes a matter of great shame and pride if someone is able to do or not do that. In fact, we are tested in interviews on that same thing. It's called a design interview. So yeah, it is a big thing in software engineering. It is what separates good engineers from bad engineers, or good software developers from bad software developers. So that is why I think it's okay for me to complain, or at least put out the information out there for the AI scientists to, you know, also take some pride in writing good code.